Namaskar, good morning, dear devotees and friends. We will be discussing about the Yoga Vasistha, and today the theme is the knowledge. Without knowledge, human life is of no value. So before that, let us chant this mantra. Dikaladi Anabachinna Ananta Chinmatra Murtaye Svanubhuti Ekamanaya Namah Shantaya Tejase. I salute the Supreme Brahman, which is beyond all qualities, tranquil, beyond the limitations of the directions, space, time, or objects, who alone is the embodiment of infinite consciousness and who is to be known only through the proof of one's own existence. Friends, we were reading the last time and that the Rishi Yoga Vasistha now trying to convince Sri Ramachandra, who was ready to give up the everything and to embrace the monastic life. But being a king, being a prince, being a Kshatriya, the Rama should have to follow his own Swadharma. So that is the main idea. Now Rama is telling whatever he said correct. He said everything is transitory, temporary. Why then you people are asking me to accept this, to become a king, to rule the country? What is necessary? So now that is the wonderful way the the Rishi, he is Vasistha Muni, he is convincing Sri Rama. He said, yes, you have understood it, but you have to understand it through a guru. You have tried to understand it yourself and your analysis are correct, but at the same time you need a guru to explain it to you. That is the first thing. Second, who can understand this knowledge? Third, what is the speciality of the guru? Now he is telling, now let us discuss about it. He is asking, if there is any desire, you cannot get the direct experience of the Brahman. And without the direct experience of the Brahman, without taking any help, you are not understanding Brahman. So this is the point here the Rishi is explaining. In reality, there is nothing but absolute Brahman. In reality. But apparently there are so many. So we have to keep these two in mind. One thing that is made of milk, but it is having so many varieties of forms and names, and the cost of those confections, the sweets also are different. But in reality, it is all milk. So this is, in reality, everything is Brahman, though apparently it shows in so many varieties. Our imaginations separate us from the Brahman. Like the space within the earthen pot, as if separated from the real space. In those days, they used to give this type of example, the earthen pot. Inside there is space, that is Akasha. In Sanskrit, say Akasha. Now, is it separate from the actual Akasha, the space? No. We are thinking that it is separate. The moment the earthen pot is broken, it goes back to the original. So, it says in the 22nd verse of the Yoga Vasistha, it says, Ghatadishu pranasteshu yatha akasham akhanditam tatha deheshu nasteshu dehi nityam alepakaha. The Indian language mostly based on Sanskrit, so they will understand, because very simple words it has been used over here. Ghatadishu, Ghata Adi, Adi means etc. and many others. Ghata means the pot, here the earthen pot. Pranasteshu, when it is broken, what happened? The space inside that, it goes back to the original space. Yatha akasham, there is a space, akhanditam, there is no separation. Similarly, what happens after death? Only body we cast aside and go away. Tatha deheshu nasteshu, when the body is dead, dehi, the soul, the Atman, the consciousness which is there inside that body, nityam alepakaha, it goes back to the nitya. So, that is the idea. The consciousness of the Brahman is reflected on our intellect, buddhi, not on mind. The consciousness is reflecting on the buddhi. That is why in Bhagavad Gita it says, Buddhi yogam dadamaham. When the God is blessing someone, he is giving him correct understanding, the buddhi, the intellect. So, they can take the proper decision. The same thing is happening, but one brother will take one type of decision, another brother will take another decision. Why? Because of the buddhi, because of the understanding, because of the analytical capacity. That is the main thing. A man, the difference between the man and man is the intellect. And what is that intellect? Reflected consciousness. Now, when this reflected consciousness, which is really conscious and coming down and reflecting on our buddhi, if that is more, then our intellect is also, and we can understand the subtle thing of the spirituality. So, this is the difference. By mistake, we think that we are separate. The moment we understand that, reflected consciousness vanishes and the Brahma consciousness as if submerged, the whole of us. So, when we understand that actually what is there within us, we can understand the bones, the marrow, the blood, the flesh, the skin. We can understand all those. The medical students, they are all the time reading those and memorizing those and remembering those. We can understand that. But what is that life? There, when we talk about life, now the neurologist, neuroscientist, they will explain in a different way, but we say that is the consciousness. That is the reflected consciousness on our intellect. The Vedantin will say like that. So, this is which we call life, and we think that is the main thing. In reality, there are two. One is this conscious sorry. This sneezing also true, and I am also true. But now the Vedantin will argue, who is sneezing, me or my body or what? So, that is apart. But the Vedantin will say only Brahman remains and nothing else. If the Brahman only is remaining, then what is all this? This body and all that? That is also Brahman. So it says in the 23rd verse, it says, Na jayate mriyate va kachit kinchit kadachana. Na jayate, not born, mriyate va, not even dead, kachit kinchit kadachana jagat bibarta rupena kevalam brahma jimbrate. It says, in reality, nothing is created or destroyed anywhere, anytime. Nothing, everything is intact as it is there. The Brahman only exists eternally. By mistake, we superimpose this world on it. So this is the point that we have to remember, to understand. That we are superimposing this whole world, this universe on it. Isn't it funny? That we are superimposing on the consciousness. Is it possible? Now, if you take the examples of our individual life, suppose you are walking and you see that your friend, very close friend, is just ahead of you. In between, some people are there. So you try to call him loudly. He can't. He is not answering. So you just run. You go, and because you are confirmed that is my friend, I have grown up with him. How can I make the mistake? You go and pat at the back and say, hey, how are you? And then he turns and you say, completely different person. But from the back or from the side, you thought, this is my friend, isn't it? That means you are superimposing your friend idea on a completely unknown person. It happens. So we are superimposing the love on a lady, or a lady on a gentleman. We are superimposing. And we are thinking that we cannot live without he or she. But after some time, we say, no, we need the separation. Why? We superimposed love on her or on him. We superimposed. It was not real. If there is real love, there is no question of separation. So like that, there are hundreds and thousands of things are happening every time in our life. We are superimposing. Then afterwards, we are withdrawing. How we can withdraw from the original thing? It is not possible. We are withdrawing because it is superimposed. It is not original. So that is the thing we have to understand. That is Vedanta. So we are going little deeper and deeper to understand. And understanding whom? Myself. And who is understanding? Me. I am understanding myself. So this is the very challenging condition. If everything is nothing but the Brahman, then where from this creation came? Who created it? How it was created? These are the questions, obviously. Here, for the Sri Ramachandra, the Vasistha Muni, he completely, very clearly he said, this Brahman, this Atman is eternal. It never was taken birth, means creation. That means there was a beginning. No, there is no beginning, no birth, and no death also, no end of it also. And it is eternal, it goes on like this. So what is this Jagat that is coming up, staying for some time, then getting destroyed? How it is? So that is, you are superimposing on it. Jagat bibartate. That is all this bibarta you are superimposing. In reality, it is nothing. Like the white screen on which the movie is going on, and so many different things are happening. but actually there is nothing. That white screen is there and nothing is there. So that is the thing it says. Now the question is, they are trying to understand how this creation came. What is called Bada. Bada means theory. There are four, the theories are there. How it was created. First is Arambhavada. This is we are explaining. Rishi said straightway. Now to understand this, the different people are analyzing this. Swami Dhireshananda Ji Maharaj, whose book we are following, he brought this idea. Nothing is changing, but that is there. Right this moment, we see this table, we see these differences. How it is? So, Arambhavada. What is the Arambhavada? Doctrine of origination. A second is called Parinama Bada. Bada means doctrine. The doctrine of transformation. Third is Vivartavada. Doctrine of phenomenal appearance. And fourth, Ajatavada. Doctrine of no creation. So, let us start with this one, doctrine of origination. How it is? Mainly Nyaya and Vaishashika. They are forwarding, they are supporting this view. There was not something, but the particles were there. Then all these particles come together and give the shape, give the form of something. It says that it originates out of the combination of numerous molecules. Example, previously clay pot was not there. So, we have to remember in those days this was only available. So, every time the Vedantin, they are giving the example because they were having only clay pot, elephant, bird, tree. So, they give that example. So, here it says the previously clay pot was not there, then originates out of the combination of the numerous particles of clay. The clay, water and so many other things are also there. Then it takes the form, then the potter is giving the shape, then it is burned and becoming a temporary permanent thing. So, it is little heard, it will continue for some time. So, that is a form which was not there, taking the form because of some condition. This is Nyaya and Vaishashika, the two philosophy, they are supporting this. It is called Arambhavada. There is a beginning. Now, the doubt is this, whether these particles, where it was there, where from it came. So, that is the doubt. So, Arambhavada, doctrine of origin. Second, doctrine of transformation. Shankha philosophy, they accept it, and Sri Ramanuja also supporting it. Parinamavada. What is that Parinama? Something was there. Then it transformed into something else. Parinama, complete change. Giving up the one state transform into another state. The classical example, they will say the milk transform into yogurt. It was milk, but the same milk become yogurt. Now, the doubt is, if the Brahman has become this Jagat, the Brahman has become this universe, then there is no Brahman. Is it true? Can it be? No, it cannot be. The God has created this universe. Then there is no God. God has been exhausted. Can that be? No, that cannot be. So, this Parinamavada also cannot be accepted. So, the Samkhya philosophy and the others are supporting. Now come the very convincing Vada. Now, friends, there is only Brahman, and where from this Jagat came, these people, they are trying to analyze it. They are putting forward their ideas. The two we have already studied, and we cannot accept that. The third one is called Vivartavad. Arambhavad, Parinamavad, then Vivartavad. Remember this word, Vivarta. What is this Vivarta? Apparent change. And there we get the answer, and the Vedantin they are putting forward, particularly Shankaracharya, Vivartavad. Through false perception, one object appears a completely different form. And what is the process? Wrong understanding, false perception. Change is coming, complete change is coming. But due to my ignorance, this is the thing, due to my ignorance, by mistake, one may see a snake, which in reality a rope. So, a rope is there. Rope has nothing to do with the snake. It is called, rope is the Vyavaharika, Pratibhashika. These are all terminologies, if you can remember. The Vyavaharika, what is that? Vyavahara is the rope. Rope has nothing to do with the snake. But the condition was such, it was drizzling, it was twilight, it was not very clear, and I have a fear of the snake, and I saw from distance that the rope lying on the street, and I convinced myself, oh, that is the snake. I can't move forward. So I started shouting, and the neighbors around, they came forward, and someone bring the torch. Oh, this is nothing. This is nothing but the rope. Don't be afraid. So this is the Guru. He comes and says, don't be afraid of this world. Durbara samsara davagni taptam dodhu omanam drudishtavatehi. In the Vivek Chudamani, Shankaracharya is telling, those who sees the whole world is burning and people are trying to grab him, and the person who wants to get liberation, he is running and saying, oh Guru, please bless me, please protect me, because this fire is going to burn me. Then the Guru says, don't worry, where is the fire? What do you see? Nothing but God, everything is God. So we give up, and to get the God, and to achieve or to realize the God, we give up the world. After realization of the God, what do you see? The God has become this universe. The Brahman has become this universe. That is called complete knowledge. And somehow we are going out, of course that is also there, and thinking that I don't care about whether the world is true or false or imagination. I only want liberation, that's all. That is also there. Swami Vivekananda, when he was young, he wanted that. He wanted to go beyond this. Now, I don't want to. Then the Sri Ramakrishna rebuked him, his Guru rebuked him. When he asked it, what do you want? I want to meditate, I want to go into Samadhi, and in the Samadhi I like to merge with my own original identity, that is the self, and just to keep the body, sometimes when I feel hungry, I will go and eat some food, and again I will go down to that. Sri Ramakrishna rebuked him. That is only for the selfish people, the very weak people, weak mind. You are a great person. So you have to go beyond that. How is it? He says, you have to go and see the whole world is nothing but the Brahman. And when Swami Vivekananda passed away, his disciple, Sister Nivedita, Margaret Noble, a Celtic lady from London, she wrote a wonderful way. And for him there was no difference between the heaven and this world. Nothing was there because he saw the Brahman everywhere. So this is called Bibartavada. You come down again to the Bibartavada. There is a change, but with real knowledge, delusion vanishes and the true knowledge dawn. To the ignorant people, Brahman appear as world. But in reality, there is no world at all. Conception of world is superimposed on Brahman. Shankaracharya, he is advocating this idea. How? Because of Maya, a delusive power. So you won't continue over here because the first is Brahman is everything. Then the question comes, what is this world? Then the four ideas that was put forward called Bada. One is called Arambha Bada, supported by Nyaya and Vaishashika. And all the particles are there, but those particles come together and give a form that is called Arambha, beginning. Another said, no, it is complete transformation. Brahman was there, the Brahman has become this whole, because there is no other, there cannot be any other material except God or Brahman. I am using the word God because it is a popular word. We can understand. The Brahman means all pervading consciousness. But the moment we say God, we can understand something like this. So that is why, but it is only one. So obviously, where from the creation comes, that is the basic question of philosophy, every philosophy. And some people say, there is no light. Then the God said, let there be light, and there was light. And the Christianity, it says, let there be light, and there was light. That means the God is commanding and things are happening. The same way it can go, things are happening. What are those things? The material thing. That means God is creating the material thing. The light, the table, the chair, okay, no problem. But if this is that, is it? These materials, which is not consciousness, and me, a combination of the material and the consciousness, who created? God. Out of what? God. Just by saying that, they say yes. That's one way of seeing things. They are analyzing the creation, because that is the most complicated question of the philosophy. How the creation came, who created it? God created. Out of what? Beyond God, before God, there was no other material. God created out of his own will. This is the one way. Here it says, okay, God created in that way. But why he created? Why he wished? Bibartavada explained, it has not created at all. You are only superimposing. You are only imagining. Now the question is, if I was not knowing a camel, I have not seen camel, I have not seen the picture, I never visited the Jew garden, how can I imagine a camel? Naturally, those who have no idea of the camel, they won't be able to imagine the camel. How can I imagine so many things? Then they say, your life is eternal. Your experiences are also eternal. And you have seen so many things, experienced so many things. That is the Hinduism. They say it is eternally going on, eternally. It is not that only this time you are born. The Sri Krishna is telling Arjuna, in that time I gave these instructions to be the son. How that is possible? Son is so older than you, you are so young. Then the Krishna said, again and again we are taking birth, Arjuna, but you don't remember, I can. That means we are taking birth again and again and so many experiences, so we are imposing, superimposing and having the idea. Now this is the point we have to remember, the doctrine of apparent change. So something is there, we are superimposing with this idea. This is very acceptable. Why? Because we can understand, if it is truly changed, like the milk becoming yogurt, yogurt can never become the milk. In that case, the container that was having the milk is completely empty. The God who has created this is empty now. There is no God. How can that be? So it is superimpose and impose. That is easy to understand. That superimposition, when you say there was, in reality there was no change, right? If there was no change, there was no Jagat at all. And that gives another conception. It says Ajatabhada. It was never created. Doctrine of non-creation. It was never created. Don't only think about the creation at all. And when the creation comes, I feel there is a friend, there is a foe, I am going to get it, I am going to lose it. All this duality comes, happiness and misery comes, light and darkness comes, suffering and enjoyment comes because of the duality. And when there is nothing, all vanishes. So Shankara's guru's guru, he, the Ajatavada, he propagated that. According to the Vibhartavada, the cause is Brahman, which is unchangeable, and the effect is world, which is false. That means the world was never created. And this is called Ajatavada. The Gaudapada propagated this doctrine. The Gaudapada, that is the Karika is there, he is explaining about this. And also those who are following the Ashtavakra Samhita we are studying every first Saturday, they are also, the world is not there. Why you are asking me to meditate? The disciple is asking the Guru. Whom I am going to meditate? Who is going to meditate? Then the Guru told, no, I have understood. So that is called completely Ajatavada. Whom I am going to meditate? The moment I think that I am going to meditate on God, the duality, so that is the one way that mind is so high, he cannot see anything else but that consciousness. For them it is there. So friends, these are all the badhas, these are all the doctrines, and by this way it gives the explanation. The supporting this Ajatavada, Rishi Vasistha is telling Rama. Akashadapi vistirna, Shuddha, Shukshma, Abhaya, Shivaha, Ayam Atma, Katham Rama Jayate Mriyate Athava. In the 24th verse he is telling, O Rama, this Atman which is immeasurable, that is a Vistirna. You cannot think about this is up to this. This Vistirna, immeasurable. And it is pure, subtle, imperishable and auspicious. How can it take birth or die? The changes that you are seeing in this world, now you like to give up this world and accept the life of a monk, right? He is asking the Rama. Rama said, yes. Now you say, where is the world? So this is the way he is convincing the Ramachandra. The same thing we found in the life of Sri Ramakrishna Vivekananda. Vivekananda wanted to give up this world and to meditate merged in the Brahman. And Sri Ramakrishna is telling, where is the world? If you can see God by closing your eyes, can't you see God by opening your eyes? The same Vivekananda, then he said, Jibe prem kare jei jan, সেই জন সেবিছে ঈশ্বর. Who is giving the love to these all beings, he is truly serving God. Service to man is service to God, he said. Man means to beings. Service to man is service to God. The other day I was reading in the newspaper, where it is, or maybe in India and Hyderabad, there is a flood is going, sudden flood, and people are dying, people are trying to save themselves, but what about the street dogs and cats and many other animals? What will happen? One gentleman, will you believe, he opened his building, his whole house, and taking all the animals, and he said to his friends and neighbors, if you find any animal, where it will go, they will all die in the water, send it to me. So 300 dogs, stray dogs came over there, and the cats are there, the birds are there, the cows and the goats, so many varieties. Now somehow he himself is on the top of the building, and all these animals are there, and it has become so dirty, and it is unbearable smell. But he said, this smell and all these things I can wash after the water goes down. But if I push them out, they will all die. Millions of people appreciated him, and they are sending support, the money and all, because they have to feed these animals. The wonderful heart. Can you imagine? You are opening your whole building for the animals. He is doing it, right? Now the question, out of emotion, then he remains the same person. But the moment he thinks that I am doing it because these animals are nothing but the God, the same act, same activity will transform him into a spiritual personality. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna went to a very highly educated person and who was so good. He wanted to change the whole society, because at that time the Indian society, they were suffering. The many bad things entered into the society. Vidyasagar, the little small girls, they were getting married with a aged person, and the person will die, and the girl never knew what is marriage, and came to know that she is widow, and she has to suffer all through the life. Vidyasagar wanted to stop on that. Sri Ramakrishna appreciated, went himself and made Vidyasagar talk to him. But then afterward he said, he is doing everything but not understanding, he is doing it for God, that much. He is doing out of emotion. The same work, only changing the outlook, understanding, that much. So the world is in reality not there. When we say that, don't think that you and I can do it this moment. We are not ready for that. So for us it is there now. It is there in the form of God, different forms of God. That is exactly practical Vedanta Swami Vivekananda introduced, and he said, if you are serving a human being, you are serving the living God. And he was telling the animals and others, they can somehow survive, but what about the human being? Give them education. And there are some people who will help the people, but will always keep them dependent on them. That is the very peculiar way, so that I can control them. For everything they should come to me, and my ego is boosted up. After me my son will come, and after the son the grandson. All ego goes on. But we are serving. No, that is not the service. So all subtlety we have to understand. Okay, now we go back to the ultimate Vedanta. What is that ultimate Vedanta? Akashadapi vistirna shuddha shukshma abhaya shivaha ayamatma katham rama jayate mriyate athava. This Atman which is immeasurable, cannot be compared with the space, and moreover it is pure, subtle, imperishable and auspicious. How can you think that it has taken birth or die? Now the Upanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad actually said the space was created from the Atman. Tashmat ba etashmat akasha sambhuvaha akashat vayo vayo agni agni apaha adva prithivi. Like that, one step and step it comes. Tasmat ba etasmat, from that one all pervading consciousness, the first it was created the space, the akasha. Akasha doesn't mean the sky, is the space. And this Upanishad is telling, so when this space was created from the Brahman, how the space can be bigger than the Brahman? That cannot be. So we have to understand. In Purulia, we had a school. In admission time, the children used to come. There's too many of them who are coming from far away. We used to arrange their stay. So before the competitive exam, they were there, the father and the son, many, the parents, they were there. After the night food, when we were strolling, I found a boy and his father. Then I just casually, some of us, the Brahma Swamis were there, just for the joke I asked the boy, Acha, let me ask you a question. And father was serious. He was thinking maybe that this is the way they are taking the exam, and if my son is not giving the proper answer, he will never be admitted, etc. So you are serious. Yes, son, you are intelligent, give the answer, give the answer. Question was, if the son's age is 16 and father is 8, what would be the age of the son when the father is 20? Then this boy was looking at me and he said, after some, and the father was encouraging, give the answer, give the answer. But the son told, how can the son be 16 and the father is 8? It should be opposite. And then the father told, yes, yes, that is correct, that is also correct. So anyway, the tension, so this is the way. How can you say that the sky is bigger than the Brahman? Because the Brahman created the sky. So it says, Akashadapi Vistirna is bigger than the space. Akashad opi Vistirna. Then second, Atman is pure. It says it is Shuddha. Shuddha means pure. How it is pure? Because there is no desire. The moment there is no desire, we are all pure. Again and again, friends, you may remember that I always say, what is purity? Unselfishness is purity. Swami Vivekananda said, unselfishness is the purity. We talk about the purity. We talk about that we go and bathe in the Ganga and then we eat these or drink that, we become pure. Unselfishness is purity. The moment you become unselfish completely, you become God. Because God is unselfish. That is called purity. Atman is subtle because the senses cannot comprehend it. The subtlest of the subtle. Why? Because our senses, sense organs cannot comprehend it. It is called Sukshma. It is Abhaya. Abhaya means there is no change. Atman is not affected by 6 modifications. In Hinduism, it goes on very clearly and constantly analyzing. So the moment they said Atman is Abhaya, there is no change in this Atman, this Brahman, and immediately what are the changes? Jayate, asti, bardhate, vipurniyamate, vipakshiyate and mriyate. These 6 changes. So how they have analyzed? It is birth, then the stay, then the growth, then the change, decay, death, these goes on. Is jayate, asti, bardhate, it goes on till death. Atman is beyond this. The Atman is not affected by this modification, and that is why Abhaya, and it is auspicious. The Shiva, Shiva means auspiciousness. And what is this? Atman is auspicious because it is free from selfishness. There is also the purity and the Shiva are the same. So now this is the Atman. This Atman is all pervading everywhere. Out of it, everything has been created. How can you think that it has a birth and a death? Guru is telling his Shishya, Sri Ramachandra, that it is always there and it has no changes. Every human soul hanker for peace and bliss. How that can be achieved? Now in the 25th verse, the Vasistha is telling Sri Ramachandra, you said that your mind is tormenting and you cannot sleep, you cannot eat, and constantly you are thinking that what you should do. You know who can get the peace? He is telling here, Sarvam ekam idam shantam adi madhya anta varjitam bhava abhava vinirmuktam iti gatva sukhi bhava. Be happy by knowing, understanding, realizing what is that? O Rama, everything that we see, we smell, we touch, we taste, we hear, all these 5 organs are nothing but one tranquil Brahman, Shanta Brahman. Please know that it has no beginning, Adi, it has no middle, Madhya, and it has no end, Anta. It is beyond existence and non-existence. Bhava, abhava. These are all Sanskrit terminology. Bhava means existence and non-existence. The moment you say it is existing, that means it is the time frame, causation, time, space and causation. So it is bhava, it is, how can you say it is there? Bhava and abhava. It is not there, it is also not like that. This is very peculiar. So you have to develop very subtle conception about it. Bhava and abhava. We can understand the sun is there. It is existing. It is not there, but and also existing and non-existing. Just try to imagine how it is. It is already there. It is already there. So this is the reason, this is the way it says, bhava and abhava. Sarvam eka idam. Eka means one. Idam, this. Sarvam. Anything that we see is nothing but that one without second. And it is shantam. It is tranquil. Why? There is no repulse. There is no other things. You know, those who are studying Vedanta, the 3 gunas are there, Sattva, Raja, Tama. When the equilibrium, no changes, it is Shanta. The moment it is changing, all creation comes. That is the Vedanta it says. So it has no beginning, it has no middle, it has no end. And at the same time, it is there or it is not there, that conception also cannot be applied over here. Knowing these, become happy. So this is called knowledge. And Acharya Shankara, in his Aparakshanubhuti, verse number 45, he is putting the same thing in a different way. Upadanam prapanchasya brahman anyana vidyate. Upadana means the material of what? Material to bring, to start the work or to make prapancha, this universe. What is the upadana? Material cause, Brahman. Tasmat Sarva prapancha ayam Brahma eva asti. Therefore, the whole this universe is nothing but Brahman. Shankara, in his Aparakshanubhuti, he is mentioning this way. When this world was created out of what? Brahman. So, material cause is Brahman. So, obviously, it is all Brahman. Now, material cause is the wood. And out of the wood, this table has been created, the chair and this, maybe the walls and so ceiling of the room, everything made of wood. This whole building is made of wood. And naturally, you cannot see anything else but the wood everywhere. Maybe in different shape, different form. Some are long, some are thin, some are thick, but the same wood only. So, upadanam prapanchasya Brahman anyana vidyate. There is no other thing. Tasmat sarva prapancha ayam Brahma eva asti. Therefore, the whole universe is nothing but this Brahman. This is the true Sanatana Dharma. This is the true Sanatana Dharma. Those who are studying with me the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, I think in last 2 weeks before, the Sri Ramakrishna told the Sanatana Dharma is going to stay, and all other religions and philosophies all will be destroyed. And what is this Sanatana Dharma is known as the Hindu Dharma. This conception, this knowledge, there is only Brahman, the consciousness all pervading, and this Jagat that you see, this world that you see with all these different forms and names are nothing but the same Brahman. This is called Sanatana Dharma, and that is why in the Isha Upanishad it says Ishavashyamidam sarvam Jatkincha jagatyam jagat. Isha Bhashyam idam sarvam. That consciousness, that God, it is covering the everything. I have not read, but I heard that Gandhiji said, if all the scriptures of the Hindus are burnt and destroyed, if this only sloka of the Isha Upanishad remain, Hinduism will remain. So, what is Hinduism? The all-pervading consciousness, eternal, and there is no two. And that is why the Hindus, they say, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. This whole universe is our relative. We are connected. There cannot be anything else. So, this is Hinduism. Those who are talking about Hinduism should understand this Hinduism. It can never become narrow. So, comparing with others, it should not. Sri Ramakrishna, this is going to last eternally. No other ism can last. This knowledge is the basis of the Sanatana Dharma or eternal. O Rama, said Rishi Vasistha, life without self-knowledge is no life. Life without self-knowledge, this is the idea. See the vast conception. We are thinking about the religious harmony. Sri Ramakrishna is the embodiment of the religious harmony. Why? Because he realized that. And not only that, many they have realized the Brahman. Brahma Satya Jagan Mitha. But this was the time when Sri Ramakrishna came, the Avatara. It was his duty to establish the unity among diversified religions and philosophies. And when you talk about the unification, the wrong conception comes. Some people, they say, if it is so, all religions are the true, then why you don't come and convert yourself into my religion? It is a wrong conception. All paths are going to the same goal. That is the idea. Only when you are following your religion, your culture, your philosophy, your ideology, please go ahead. Godspeed. But at the same time, don't criticize others. Don't put hindrances on others' path. That's all. That is nothing but this much. Nothing but this much. The God is eternal. The Brahman is eternal. Without Brahman, without the consciousness, there is nothing. It cannot be any two. So, knowing this, the Hindu cannot go and fight with others. No, he is not a Hindu who is fighting with others. Please understand this. The Hinduism means all comprehensive. Now, in the society, when different type of things are appearing because of the economical, geographical and social, linguistic, that is different thing. Then you have to take the measure according to the situation. But when you talk about the religion, talk about the ultimate God, about the ultimate Brahman, which actually the Sanatana Dharma is containing, is the one Brahman, and everything has come from that. So obviously we cannot say that this is not God. You cannot say that. Rama na murkha hata jivitam. I am taking the small part of the verse 26. The Vasistha is telling, "Oh Rama, don't live like a ignorant person." Without knowing this knowledge that God is everything, when you are living, it's a very bad type of living. It is no human life. So human life is that lives. Swami Vivekananda said, those who are helping others, they are only living. Those who live for others are only living. Rest are more dead than alive. What about that? That means you know the others. There cannot be others. They are all my same. Some of the rich people, they are sitting quietly, and where thousands of people not having the food. What you will do with that money? What you are going to do? You are thinking that your generations after generation they will eat. Can't you just open the history book? You see everything goes destroyed. Nothing remains. But that is called knowledge. They may be rich. They may be influential. They may be accepted at this moment in the society. But they are ignorant. So this life is not the life. So this is the teaching to Sri Ramachandra, and this Vairagya Prakaran is ending over here. Sri Ramakrishna said, Advaita Gyan Achale Bede Jatha Ichha Tatha Jao. First realize the Atman, then roam in the world and enjoy staying. What is that Advaita Jnana? Brahma Satya. The Brahman only is existing and nothing else. Swami Vivekananda said, to give the definition of the religion, he said, religion is the manifestation of the divinity already in man. It's not that we are acquiring from something somewhere else. It is already there. What is the divinity? I am that. That is called divinity. When Jesus said, I and my Father in heaven are one, that is divinity. When the Rishi said, Aham Brahmasmi, that is divinity. When the Muslims they say, Anal Haq, that is divinity. This divinity is the manifestation which is already there. Ma Sharada Muni said, how you will understand that you have realized the Supreme? When you will find truly no difference between the lowest of the low and the purest of the pure. No difference. So friends, this is what the religion is teaching us. Sometimes some people, out of orthodoxy, out of ignorance, out of ego, don't allow other people to enter into the temple of God. And you say, God, this is ignorance. What we should not do. If there is truly God, who can see, who can hear, who naturally, according to your karma phala, you are not allowing his children whom you are thinking they are low, do you think you will be happy? No. So, without this knowledge, living a human life is worthless. That is exactly what they say. Friends, the Navaratri, all the Hindus all over, they are now worshipping Navaratri, the 9 different, the mother manifested herself in 9 different forms, 9 nights they are worshipping. Now the Durga Puja is coming. You know, this Durga is the symbol of the Hindus. How? I will just say in only one, that to make the Durga, the earth is necessary, and that is collected from the doorstep of a Brahmana, of a king, and of the Barangana, the prostitute. So these 3 from there, that means the whole society is present, the pure and so-called low, they are also there. All the gods and goddesses gave their power to Goddess Durga. The 10 hands everywhere is Goddess Durga. So the Vedanta that we are studying, and the same Vedanta is reflecting through the images of Goddess Durga and others. That is Hinduism, that is Sanatana Dharma. The God is all pervading, and there is nothing except that consciousness whom we call Brahman. Thank you very much.
The first question is Kaushik Chakraborty. Please make a discussion on Sri Sri Devi Durga, significance of Durga Puja.
Kaushik, that is a completely different subject, and maybe tomorrow morning I am going to give the same, the topic that you have suggested. On the same topic I am going to give a talk to the Dubai, the Bhava Prachar, the Dubai group. Dubai devotees are there. So tomorrow morning, maybe that will be recorded, I will ask, and it will be there in the YouTube. Someday you can listen to it.
The next question is from Top 10. In your previous class of Yoga Vasistha, you have said that to put on a flashlight to see rope and fall snake goes by Vaishak, but Abarani and Big Shape both are Maya. How Big Shape can reveal?
I think you have already talked about it, and then you wrote to me also in the email, and you are thinking that conception of Vikshepa. Vikshepa means the removing the idea. That is called the knowledge, and it is also comes under the purview of the Maya. And when there is only I remain, there is no doubt about it. I don't need that knowledge also that I am that, and that is called pure knowledge. I think you should study some of the books, or you can talk to some other monks. It will be easy, because in the short time, the one is Avarana and another is Vikshepa. And the Avarana means we are covering, and another is we are removing. How? I have the conception of the Avarana, and when the knowledge dawn, that is gone. Then what remains? Only the knowledge. Then these two already gone. Do you remember Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said that the Jnana Kanta, that means the thorn of knowledge, also have to be thrown. The first, there is a Ajnana, that is ignorance thorn, is sticking, and now to remove that, another thorn you have to use, that is also thorn, but after removing the first one, you have to throw the both. That exactly what I wanted to tell. Thank you.
The next question is from Kaushik again. He's saying, can you please make a playlist for your YouTube channel?
Oh, that is already there, Kaushik. And if you go to our website, chicagovedanta.org, the organization, if you go and then on the home page, if you scroll down a little, you will find there is a line is there on the right side, there is a Twitter, Facebook, etc. Below there is a devotee's blog, and one devotee, husband, wife, they have given the wonderfully each and everything, all my talks, wherever I gave, everything is there. So you will find that.
Tuhin Guha is asking, my question is, if life is eternal, then why do we need liberation? If world actually does not exist, then do we really need liberation?
No, from the point of view of the highest Vedanta, no conception of liberation. No conception. That Ashtabakra Samhita that we are studying, there also the Janaka is telling, so who is hankering for the liberation and what is that liberation? So it is like this, that I am living in my own house. Why should I search for my house? And what is I am searching? I am already there in my house and I am staying there. Shall I go and ask my neighbor, do you know such and such person? Do you know Swami Ishatmananda? Do you know where he lives? I am that Ishatmananda. I am living in my own ashrama, in my own house. Why should I search? The same way, if you realize that you are that Brahman, no question of liberation. When the conception of bondage is there, question of liberation. Naturally, when that is not there, no question of liberation. But that is the point of view of the ultimate Vedanta.
The next question is from top 10 again. If God is our real mother and father, then why we should maintain so many rules after bathing, puja? I am of my mother is mine, that's all. Is that rule necessary for real devotion?
Not at all. Top 10, this is not necessary. But you have to remember that if you truly feel that the God is your mother, then it is not necessary. But you are pretending only to avoid the hazards of taking birth in the morning and wearing the washed clothes and going to the temple, then that is hypocrisy. So these two things, if you are truly loving, no question. But if you are not, then you have to follow this system. So these systems, they developed not today. Many research they did, because the human mind is very delusive. Human mind is always say, hey, you can do this, you need not to do that. So whatever you try to do, they will try to take you away. That is in our daily life, we know. It's so difficult to control the mind. So that is why all these disciplines, the practices, in every religion it is there, only to channelize our strength to the goal. Thank you very much. Thank you for all this. So let us say Shanti 3 times and we conclude. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat. Peace, peace, peace unto all.